Welcome to Franchise Empires, where aspiring entrepreneurs learn exactly what it takes to become a successful franchise owner, from one location to 10 and beyond. I'm the Wolf of Franchises.
Hey everyone, it's the Wolf. Today in the show we have Tom Dowd and Janina Czado. Janina is the CEO of FS8 and Tom is the CEO of F45. In this conversation, we dive into the inner workings of F45, what's going on for the tumultuous last few years, how things are improving, and these new brands, FS8 and VAURA Pilates, and where the future of this business as a whole is going. And as a hint, it's going the direction of a platform fitness company. Hear Tom and Janina talk all about it. Enjoy.
The Wolf of Franchises is the CEO of Wolfpack Franchising, as well as a creator at Workweek Media. All opinions expressed by the Wolf and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Wolfpack Franchising or Workweek. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. The Wolf, Workweek, and Wolfpack Franchising may maintain positions in the franchises discussed on this podcast.
You know, what kind of prompted FS8 and VAURA to kind of become under the F45 umbrella? Well, what was the story behind that?
I could jump in and take this one. When I first started over a year and a half ago, I realized that we had two amazing Pilates concepts that were sitting there that were really just kind of taking second fiddle to F45 because F45 obviously is the bread and butter and the core business for us. But then I started realizing that, everybody around me was starting to take Pilates classes. And then when we started digging in, we realized that Pilates was such a hot trend and we had amazing products that we weren't really getting putting our efforts into. So then I turned to JC and said, hey, listen, how do we take a really good product in FS8 and how do we make it amazing? So JC and the team went back, tweaked the workout. It's reformer Pilates with toning and yoga elements to it, which is very unique and different. Our membership loved it already. They didn't even know what we had coming down the pipeline when they reorganized it and made it more where you didn't really have to leave your area, I guess is the simplest way to describe it. And you get a more effective workout in your area. And now it's down to one trainer is all that's needed. And they came back with just an amazing product, literally within about 2 weeks. So then we started putting our back into it, and lo and behold, it's taken off. The membership are just in love with it. It's unique. It really shames our competition. It's such a great workout. And then we had VAURA sitting there that we paid a lot of money for, which was already doing very, very well. And we just put marketing and the mentality of the corporation behind it to understand that these are now three modalities that we have to pay attention to and really get behind because, this is really important for our franchise community to have a whole nother avenue to drive revenue within their market. So, and we know a lot of our members now belong to multiple studios or gyms. So to have, low intensity and high intensity as elements, that we're also launching recovery as well now. So to have everything there available for our franchise community that's very much on trend and growing was a slam dunk for us. So we didn't walk towards it. We ran towards the Pilates business and I couldn't be happier with it. JC's been in charge running it. So JC, want to add anything?
Yeah, I guess, and Tom, you nailed it on the head there. It's a real booming market at the moment. But when we kind of dove into it, really, we saw a massive gap in the market, essentially. Pilates have been around for a long time with single operators, but it really lacked innovation and it really didn't evolve as a modality. So we felt like it was a disruptable market. It really didn't have many big players in it, and we really wanted to, take hold of that as quickly as we can and kind of replicate the success that F45 had when it first launched many, many years ago, where there was, again, another gap in the market. So I think the other thing around Pilates and yoga, it really has been more of a niche style of training. can be seen more so, in physios recommending their people post-recovery taking on Pilates classes to kind of get them back on track. So it really is also about taking it out of a niche market and bringing it to the mainstream, which is what F45 has done really, really well.
Yeah. And Patrick, we're seeing a lot of males moving to it now, which is another exciting element. And, I personally know professional athletes here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania that are beating my ear about it just 2 weeks ago because they're interested in doing it in the studio. Unfortunately, I don't have one here yet for them. But yeah, we're very excited. And the other big win for us is that it's very fragmented here in the States, at least. There's a lot of mom and pops. So we really come in strong with a very sophisticated science-based workout that's fun. And most importantly, you get results.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's super interesting to kind of just hear about how you guys are thinking about it. And, JC, maybe could you kind of share just how you became involved with the business? And, I imagine, right, did these brands begin in Australia? Is that kind of where their founding stories begin?
Yeah, so I joined F45 over 8 years ago now. So I usually say that I'm the old couch in the corner that's been in the business for a while. But yeah, really was able to kind of start at the real peak moment for F45 and take a lot of learning. So my background was mostly marketing and PR, and that's where I sat within the team. And a few years ago when I moved across to look after FS8 and VAURA most recently, it really was taking the learnings and applying it to F45, to FS8 and VAURA rather, to build a franchise model around those. And yes, they were born in Australia. They were tried and tested in Australia, which we're very proud of. So that's now that 3 brands that we've launched internationally to really lovely success. So yeah, my local studios are between 15 and 20 minutes away from me, which is lovely.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And yeah, I mean, for maybe some context for the audience, right? Because pretty much everyone, I imagine, listening to this has heard of F45, if not been to a location themselves for a workout. But, when was the timeline of specifically, I know it's newer, but you maybe it would just help the audience know how recent you guys have just actually even started trying to expand here in the United States for both these brands.
Absolutely. So we, FS8 in particular, launched in 2021, right before the second wave of COVID. So that was an amazing start for us. So yeah, that was a challenging time for all involved in the fitness industry. So we had a bit of a stop start in that respect, but our US-based studios opened within the first 2 years of us running FS8. And then from a VAURA perspective, we actually launched our first ever studio in the US in New York in March this year. So that's been a massive milestone for the brand, which is a little bit smaller than FS8 at the moment.
And a huge success for us opening up in Manhattan. So we're really proud of VAURA and the volume it drives.
Yeah. No, that's a tough market. So it's always good to see when you can crack the Manhattan beast. What do you guys think as far as, I guess, there are some, obviously, like I'd say, right, Club Pilates, the biggest player in the Pilates space. So how have you guys thought about just differentiating? I imagine anyone is looking at fitness concepts, specifically in the Pilates space, would probably, that's going to be their main, comparison point. So, yeah, just curious for how you guys are thinking about that from a strategic perspective.
I could set up for JC, who's more the expert.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when I first started, we really, first of all, I love competition because, you can see, what we could do better. So when we decided to really get behind Pilates, we had to first make sure that we had a better product. If we're going to win, we have to have a better product. So again, I went and challenged JC, and they came back and made some tweaks. But both concepts, when you compare it to the competition, especially like an FS8 with the 3 different workout types, including yoga and the toning part of it with the Reformer Pilates. It's just so unique. It's, when we look at what our members say, that, few of them belong to both concepts, really come back strong with, how unique and different and empowering our workouts are, different, changing it up and just really working different, parts of your body differently, and just keeping it interesting. So the team's done a great job building content that's meaningful. And we spend a lot of time listening to our membership base. And that includes looking at social media, including like Reddit, and just listening and saying, hey, like, check our ego in a corner. Let's go tweak it, make it better, because members are suggesting this. That doesn't mean they're always right, but we want to listen and understand, something we should pressure test. So with that, JC could answer more, but I've been very happy, listening to folks that experience the different workouts, and how strong our workout is really just a slam dunk for our business model.
Yeah, it really is the 3-in-1. Typically, you'd have to go to 3 different studios to experience Pilates, tone, and yoga. So by us combining the 3 in a 50-minute class, we're essentially reducing 3 memberships into 1 for our members coming through. The other thing with FS8, I guess, is a point of differentiation for us, was our studios are light and bright and quite neutral. So we really wanted to reduce, I guess, the gym intimidation factor, particularly for the male demographic, which Tom touched on earlier. That was really important to us, and it really, dovetails into that notion around moving it from niche to mainstream. And the other element, which is different for us, is, technology really does support the experience in studio. So we have TV screens that help guide our members through the workout, and essentially what that does is it allows our trainers to really focus on more of a personalized experience, despite them being in a group environment. Now, the VAURA brand is quite different. It's really a sensory experience. Before you even walk in the door, we have a particular scent in all of our studios, so you can smell that as soon as you come in. You're greeted by a concierge. You're taken to a really dark room, which is scary in the beginning. But the beauty about that brand is once you step in, it's like another world. We have, state-of-the-art dynamic neon lighting, which is paired to music, which is then choreographed to the workout that you're actually doing in studio. So that particular brand has been designed to kind of energize like every cell of your being. And it's a bit more of an individual experience in a group environment. So 2 very different concepts for people to tap into.
Yeah, if I could jump in, I mean, the FS8 we look at as our workhorse that could go anywhere and really serve, a bigger market. And VAURA is just an amazing experience. I mean, it's like Instagram selfie heaven there. I mean, people just go crazy for the experience, and really people like leave there just like, the endorphins are still rocking between the lights and the whole experience. So, the cost to build out's a little bit more, but the volume, I mean, we have, studios in Singapore just absolutely crushing it. Manhattan, everywhere we're going, the volume for the VAURA is just crushing it. FS8's again, different experience, but also killing it for us. So again, the reason we kept both concepts is because they serve 2 different markets very well. So and listen, we think we could have more Pilates studios in the next 3 to 5 years in F45s in total, and we're still growing F45. So we're still focused on that core business as well, because high intensity interval training is still red hot, and we're still growing, and we still have an amazing product that nobody can touch. So we really feel very comfortable and proud of the programs that we're offering to our members, and the story we have for our franchise community.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear. And speaking of kind of just the differentiation of the concepts, right? Where one's your workhorse, one seems to be more, let's call it like urban, city-like environments. So, how do you guys think about the potential footprint of both these concepts?
Well, listen, the holy grail for me is having FS8 and or VAURA, F45, retail in the middle, and recovery behind that. that's what I'm envisioning, and that's where we're pushing. But the beautiful part about this is, the Pilates business, quite frankly, is easier to run for our franchisees. There's less movement of the weights and everything else. So to have a franchisee, even if it's in the same center, down the street, is really amplifies. Number one, they piggyback off their current base. But overall, so we're envisioning this as a powerful 1-2 punch, 1-2-3 punch with the recovery added in there. So we really see this as just a way for them to get better cost per square foot from a real estate standpoint, get better positioning in a real estate because now you're taking up more of a storefront. So it really empowers the franchisees to have more, power with their landlords to get better deals and get better visibility. So, and by the way, the buzz and the energy around having multiple concepts, at least in the same area, is wonderful experience because, my vision is to have this hub and spoke model for everything health and wellness for our company. So working on a new name for the company to just really encompass all the offerings that we have and that we will develop down the road.
Yeah, no, that's super exciting. And I think, when you think about the vision of the company, right? If there's audience members who aren't a part of the F45 system as a franchisee listening to this, is this something where you're going more to existing, franchisees within F45, or is it open to, prospective new franchise owners as well?
Yeah, we're very open to new franchisees. We're, the soft target for us is the, now happy franchise community to see all the effort and the transition that we've made. We've turned a corner a long time ago now. Now it's just adding gas to the fire. So we're very excited to have our current franchisees very interested in everything we're doing. That's a real pat on the back and gives us a lot of courage to move forward as fast as we can. Our biggest problem now is probably just staying ahead of the curve. There's so much demand, and poor JC and the team are struggling to push themselves. And we're to just stay on top of all the interest. But obviously bringing in new blood, new capital, people that are want to be in the space with us. That's critical. We are very focused now on controlling the growth to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes that may have been made in the past and almost any franchise group. Growth can be as much of a problem to manage as a downward spiral. So with the upward spiral here that we're dealing with, we have very sophisticated real estate and vetting process to make sure we have the right people in the system. We make sure that we are being very cautious with our real estate selection. So those two things alone, with the vetting and the real estate, gets you pretty far down the road. And then when you have a very engaged franchisee who's on top of the business, working with the community, understands how important it is to really be on top of your business and understands marketing and is enthusiastic. That makes a big difference. And those are the people we're after, because we, just like I tell the employees, like it's an honor to be here now because we have such an amazing, amazing products in a fast-growing double-digit growth category. And again, health and wellness is never going to go away. It's just on fire, and it's everybody wants to be in better shape, live longer, have better cognitive health, mobility, all these things now. Science and all the press is supporting the science behind exercise and the benefits and the longevity, and not even longevity, quality of life. So everybody's after it. Building lean muscle mass now is building so much credible studies are coming out constantly about the benefits of building lean muscle mass. So we really are just going to continue to grow this business with products offerings that really take advantage of the hot trends.
No, definitely. That's fantastic. And are you guys able to share any like financial metrics as far as KPIs that you track that are able to be spoken about within the realm of the FD&E regulation?
Not from a number standpoint. JC, you want to talk about like AEV growth and conversion, et cetera?
Yeah. Certainly, there are a few different metrics that we look at from a franchise model perspective, and yes, AUVs or average unit value. So studio revenue is probably the top one for us. Outside of that, we really look at lead volume. So essentially, that's around interest in the brand and interest in people taking part in the brand. So next up would be, I guess, the conversion of those leads. So how do we go from a welcome experience to bringing people in to actually sign up for a membership or sign up for a pack is also really critical for us to track. And then retention is something that's really big for us as well. And that talks to the product and the experience that we continue to deliver our members. So retention is key. But the other two things that we look at really being smaller or less known brands than F45 for FS8 and VAURA is around brand sentiment and brand awareness. Those are two other kind of metrics that we like to look at. We recently did a survey with our members in May this year, and one of the top 3 reasons why people came to FS8 was through word of mouth. So, that side of things and really building the brand from that perspective is really, really critical for us. So those would be the metrics that we'd be looking at quite regularly on a weekly, monthly basis.
Yeah. And just to add to that, we did a survey of over 6,000 of our active members came back to us. So that's a very big number. And the team did a great job boiling it down for us. But, everything, that came through that pipeline was really supported, everything we thought was happening, and we learned from it, of course, but, really solidified all the moves that we've done. We just launched Passport, which is our reciprocity program, where members can now travel up to 6 times a month to visit other studios. So we're really listening. It always starts for me with our membership base. Like, what do our members want? And then we go to the franchisees, because if the members aren't happy, the franchisees aren't going to be that successful. So we always start with the members and what they're talking about and what they want. So reciprocity, we call it Passport, has been a resounding success. It's the number one issue that our members wanted. Again, that survey just, solidified the fact that we needed to move fast to get that done. So, we're very happy about that. And, all the other programs that we're launching, giving the studios the ability to flip at F45 from strength to cardio, flipping those days around, adding squat racks into certain studios that opt in for it at F45. So we're really, maximizing all the marketing and all the expertise we have in franchising and learning from our members into the Pilates business. So it amplifies everything we do.
No, for sure. That's fascinating to hear. And, when you think about the org structure, do you guys, if I'm a franchisee looking at one of the 2 concepts or one of the 3 concepts, I guess, really, is it one team kind of, I'm almost like a shared service model servicing each brand, or do you guys have dedicated teams, right, for each brand that franchisees and prospective franchisees would work with?
Yep. JC?
Yeah, we definitely have dedicated teams that work on the sole brand. So there'll be a group of employees who work on FS8. There'll be another group for VAURA and then for F45. And then, yes, we do have a broader shared service model. So you're touching on all departments. So marketing, technology, finance, athletics, all really big beasts in themselves that work across all brands and share learnings and efficiencies, which is why it makes our model quite successful as well. So you're really not just getting, a small team on a small brand. You're getting a team of, hundreds of people working on the brands and really, working through the learnings and efficiencies to get you the best possible results as a franchise owner. Which I think is really critical when you're buying into a new business. You definitely want to know that there's a big team to back you as a small business owner as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the athletes are different. I visited the team when I was in Australia. They have their own separate office down there. So yeah, very dedicated, excited team. And quite frankly, really happy that we put our back behind Pilates. And we have fantastic growth potential here, and it's growing. and the interest levels through the roof. So we're very happy.
Amazing. Yeah. And, just kind of looking towards maybe the short-term future here, but in wrapping up the conversation, I mean, do you, if you're able to share, because again, it sounds like, you guys are definitely kind of like you mentioned, Tom, in this upward trajectory. And have you, is there any timeline of this? I think you mentioned a rebrand and kind of just repositioning, the company is not just F45, but as more of this hub and spoke fitness platform, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the problem is finding a name that we can lock down the website and everything else. So a lot of great names, but apparently a lot of them, if not almost all of them, it feels like have been taken. But we're getting close. So hey, listen, I would have done it last month. But we're still grinding through, and we're trying to buy some domain names. So we'll get there. But for all intents and purposes, we don't want to limit ourselves to just F45, because it doesn't tell the story about where we want to be in the next 2 years, with just being a full service, if you will, go-to provider for content for our retail partners and our other partners, for education, support. For our franchise community, and just growth opportunities. So we want to, again, position ourselves as the go-to health and wellness provider for fitness. We have a nutrition business that we started years ago. So there's just a lot of different ideas that we're going to just kind of boil down and plug into this very fast-growing category. Again, like I said, it's just going to continue to grow.
Yeah. No. Well, I hear you on the domain name and branding. A lot of domain squatters out there. So hopefully you guys can get that resolved. And yeah,
we'll come up with a name.
I'll brainstorm. I'll do a little whiteboard session here. All right. Well, look, JC and Tom, great to have you on. If there's folks listening to this, is there anywhere online where they can follow either both of you guys personally, or what would you suggest the best spot for that, and or just getting in touch with the brand to learn more about any of these concepts?
Ladies first, JC.
Absolutely. You can probably follow us both on LinkedIn. Essentially, that's the place to be in terms of getting in contact with us from a social media perspective. Definitely follow the brands at Studio FS8 and then at VAURA Pilates. Both our social media handles, but please connect with us also on LinkedIn. You'll see a lot of the stories from our franchisees for both brands across there as well. So yeah.
Great. And of course, F45invest.com to learn about our franchise opportunities. We just, again, we're 100%, franchise business, and we really focus on the experience. The vetting process is strong, but listen, for the right person that really loves this category, we have a lot to offer now. And I mentioned the recovery business is down the pike, and we're just moments away from launching that, and that'll be cold plunge and infrared sauna and red light therapy and compression. And we have just a really exciting add-on to an existing studio if they have the space, and or an easy add-on as they're building. So that's again, that category is red hot. But Big Deal Dowd on Instagram, and then of course on LinkedIn.
I love that.
Pretty much
Big
everywhere.
Deal Dowd. That's a brand right there. I like that.
I know.
It's
my nickname since high school. There are people who don't even know my first name where I grew up. It's hilarious. Well, it was always wheeling and dealing. What can I say?
Yeah, I respect it. I mean, at this point, everyone in the franchise world just calls me Wolf, and I do have a real name, so I kind of get where you're coming from there.
There we go.
Yeah. All right, JC and Tom, great to have you on. And folks, we'll plug those LinkedIn profiles and websites in the show notes so you can reach them there. But yeah, guys, great to have you on, and we'll talk soon.
Great. I enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Franchise Empires. We're coming to you soon with actionable insights to take the next step on your franchise journey. So make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you listen.